Top of the morning, everybody. Well, Cam Baker asked me in a few comments to describe my setup for cameras and sound, so I thought I'd go through a bit of that with you. If you don't know Cam Baker, well, where have you been? He's an English motor vlogger. Quite a nice chap, really, in spite of appearances. Anyway, so we'll start with the helmet. I made my helmet cam setup over several years of experimentation. What I have is two microphones in the helmet which go to the camera. One is recording my voice, the other one is stuck in beside the speaker of the Sena intercom, and it picks up the voices of the people I'm talking to. Now that setup is described in detail in this video. There'll be a link there. Also, I run power to that camera all the time. Out of my 3 drift cameras, it is the only one left which the power works. This USB port here fails in almost any action camera if you run the power on them long enough and you're doing something like getting on and off a bike and forgetting and jerking on the thing. So I made another special video, there'll be a link there again, describing how I got over that problem. So that's the one on the head, okay? I always have it at 170 field of view, adjusted for light or whatever. My second camera, which I also run all the time, is my rear camera. Basically I've got a helmet type mount on the little back plate of the X here. It slips in like that. Now incidentally, all of my mounts, drift mounts, I put little bits of tape around them and keep replacing them every now and then just to make them a bit tighter so they don't rock around in the mount, which they can tend to do. Got a little lanyard thing here which I tie onto the camera just in case it falls off. That has happened. That's my rear cam. Now that's basically perfect. I set up everything with the bike on the center stand so I can visually rotate the lens until it's the right way up. Now the sound for this camera took me a long time to work out the best way to do it. I used to have a microphone under the seat, under there. Really good for having no wind noise on it, but all you really got was the engine noise. Quite loud. You never picked up any of the nice burbling or backfiring or popping from the exhaust. It just had pure engine noise. So after a long time I developed this thing where I've got a drift microphone inside. This is just a cardboard tube, one of those inners out of, I can't remember what, but one of those cardboard tubes that you get out of stuff. I wrapped it up in plastic electrical type tape to keep it a bit waterproof. I stuffed a bit of an old sponge in both ends to keep the wind noise out, and there's a microphone in there. It's pointing that way, picks up the nice noise from the exhaust. I usually run remotes as well, which I mount here, so I have all 3 remotes when I've got 3 cameras going, so I can be stopping and starting the filming as required. Oh look, there's one of Bill's balls there, that's another story. Anyway, now the third camera, when I'm not riding with wifey, which when I'm on tours, she's usually not there, so I steal her camera and I bung it up here. Is one of the mounts for it. I've got this little thing that you can just screw on here, you can set it up. Again, I set it up in the center stand and I put it up there, level that so it's level, the lens. So that's looking back at me. You've seen that one a lot. Now, if I want, I can run this lead, it's long enough, along under the seat, under the bag, up to the middle there, so that the wire is just coming through there. So you can run the microphone to there if you want. I don't always bother these days. I might get another microphone and actually mount another one back here and have that available for there. Now, the other position where I can mount this is down here, and this is the most stable mount I have on the entire bike. For some reason its positioning in amongst the suspension and everything else just means this is incredibly stable. Right here it points forward. You see the wheel, you see the suspension going up and down. It has a really great view out the front of the bike. I've tried it to the rear, you get mostly my leg. It's alright for the odd shot. So that camera down here. Now when that camera is up there looking back, I have it on 170 field of view. Otherwise you just get my big head in the middle of it. So with the 170 you can see a fair bit of what's going on behind me. When I put it on here I get it down to 127 because you don't want too much wheel, you just want a little bit of the wheel and suspension. And I put it to 127 and it shows a great view of the front. There's a few more options you can do with this mount. Another one I have done is I'll put it on one of the rear pegs, mount it on there pointing backwards or forwards. Forwards again there's a bit too much leg. Backwards it looks pretty good, you see the rear wheel action, you see stuff out the back. I've tried it on the right hand side where you get too much exhaust in it, which also can be good for a quick shot, just showing the exhaust and some action behind. A lot of fiddling around. But that's pretty good. I use the same microphone on that position. Now another thing I can do with my third camera, which I do when I'm on tour, is I put it in my backpack. So if I'm going on a big ride, I generally have my computer, power supplies, all that sort of stuff in this backpack. That's where I keep it. I get that mount, put it on here. So I'm wearing the backpack, the camera's pointing forward, you see the back of my head. It's as if you're the pillion rider. And the best way I find for this sound, I've got yet another microphone. It's down here. In there. This is such a dodgy setup. There's another microphone in there, jammed in there with a bit of wood and an old kitchen sponge. I've got the lead to that mic going through the tube so it doesn't flap around. It comes out the top here. You plug that in to the camera. So the camera's like a pillion position and you also can hear the exhaust beautifully. This is the best sound. My favourite sound of the actual bike is from this backpack. So there you have a potential 1 on the helmet, 2 on there, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least there's a few extras like I described, 6 possible camera positions, views out of 3 cameras. There are possible 1, 2, 3, 4 mics going at least at one time with possible additional ones. One other thing I do, I can take any of these cameras, put them on my selfie stick, walk around, talk to you. I've got yet another mic in there and some bubble wrap which I put on, you know, the old lapel thing so it's near my neck, picking up my voice. I can walk around and talk and show you stuff. So that's a 7th camera and a 5th microphone. Out of all those in the editing, you can do so much with that. You can rescue stuff if one thing failed, if the sound failed because you had the mic plugged in badly or something went wrong, you can use the sound off something else. If I'm riding along, looking ahead and I really like the view from my camera, but Mr. Oz Adventures bantering on to me, telling me about his great Vietnam trip or some bloody thing like that, and I think I don't want that, well I can just use the sound from the rear mic while showing the footage from the front facing camera. And likewise you can mix those up and do them whatever way you like. So there you go, there's a brief description of my recording setup for vision and sound from the bike. It's a continually evolving process. I keep thinking of other things to do, trying them out, so it does change, but that's the basic thing. And I'd say at the very minimum, I've got to get rid of Bill's ball. At the very minimum, I've got these 2 cameras, helmet and this one, all the time. So I'm always picking up what's going on in front of me or behind me. That's partly for the whole safety, insurance type thing, and partly in just case something interesting happens that I want to show you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. Oh look, there's me in the mirror. And yeah, I'll catch you again soon on some other video where I'm ranting away. See you folks.